Hello, hello everyone. How is it going? Uh, so today we are going to restart our line of learning process fast API, and we are going to consider it from like scratch. And yeah, mm, good to see you back. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, I don't stream quite often nowadays, but yeah, let's start doing it. So we are going to use AI for this, but yeah, so I've given some instruction and hopefully it actually relies on it. So the entire process is that, yeah, the entire process is that we are going to rely on like learning the basics of how the framework works. I'm going deep into yeah. Yeah, so we're going to be learning fast API. Why fast API? Why not fast API? So we are going to be going into this, but not just that. We're also going to be looking into the fact that we will be correlating with some of the frameworks that we know. But most importantly, the ideal goal should be if we can recreate a fast API framework. So without further this thing, it's already 8 o'clock at 8:30 at our time, which means probably 1 hour. I'll have a learning session and then go offline. So let's quickly get into this without much discussions, and we'll kind of go through the process of how things are. Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Welcome to stream if anybody's watching right now. So going fast API. I'm gonna create a project for now. I'll create this and okay, cool. So what do we need? Yes, doesn't have anything here. Cool. So I suppose this has to be floating because I have that, and it also probably did that. Yeah. So we need this. We need this. Okay. So the question here is that how we are going to go through and what we are going to do, right? So let's quickly ask ChatGPT. Give me a high-level roadmap. Stop for getting the code. Give me the roadmap. Where do you only work with and how you optimize everything? Completely depends. This is my personal PC where the workflow is different than my office PC. So it completely depends. It's a personal choice of how you do things. I have moved to Linux almost 2-3 years back. I'm still not a power user, but I have recently started more relying on NeoVim, and I have got a bunch of I have done my configuration. We support a bunch of things. If you're interested in the configuration, you can find my dot files here. And yeah, so the reason why I'm moving to NeoVim, I still haven't done configuration for any UI stuff, example, the sync, but I feel, honestly, yeah. I have done configuration for Go. This is my LSP configuration for Go. This is my LSP configuration for Python. What else is there? I also have a configuration for ClangD, which is for C and CPD. I don't know if it can work for something else. I also have hold on. TLS? Sorry. So it's TLS. This is for the Java server. I'm trying to move away from IntelliJ. because I don't want to pay for it anymore. It's not giving me that much value to pay for an entire suite. Okay. Cool. So we don't have it. So I did that, but let's actually do this. So we created a virtual environment and let's activate it. Fast API and we on. So let's add those stuff. I also want to add rough for now. I don't know if it's actually useful. I'm also going to use MyPy for later on, maybe not much. Okay, cool. I use IntelliJ free version. Yeah. That also does the job for me, but I got used to the paid version and I've been paying for 2-3 years now. But I think I'll just stop paying and I'll use Neogen from GDP. So. Okay, so time to actually get this thing going. So here, how do we actually, so did it actually generate some, give me a local word like routes, paths, arrows. Oh, what else? Okay. Spacing, DB, depends, etc., etc. Life cycle, oops. Yeah. Okay, you give it a. What are you doing? TIU. I don't know what is TIU. I have no idea what we're talking about, but okay. Okay. So let's also start a plot. This directory is learning so never always technique. Sure. Okay. Yeah. Always explain stuff. You are the tutor here. So always explain stuff. Give reference. Provide internet links for documents. If you want to download anything. But never. So this is for learning FastAPI, the web framework, and the idea is to learn this API with the best practices. Then for job. I switched from framework to FastAPI for job. Huh? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, my current project's now the clouds. FastAPI. The web framework. Is the music too loud? I'm just gonna put it down. At least for me, it's too loud, so. So the web framework and beyond idea is not just build an API with it, learn best practices, the proper structure of projects, etc. And finally, the main goal would be to create full like app with FastAPI. Second project should be build a tiny tiny version of FastAPI framework itself, maybe on top of Unicorn. Now, my background, I have 10 plus years experience, especially extensively with Java. Spring Boot, yeah, bye bye, see you, man. Spring Boot, mm, and just using actual examples, example, this factor, servlet, path resolvers or something, path matchers, request, handler, mapping, etc. How things are working. Don't quite remember the names. We have been with XP for almost 35 years now. But design, low level, that's the goal. Once you understand context, put it in a log file, and later make it first precise and let's see what it actually does. Meanwhile, let's actually create this. So I remember how you generally create an API from Fast API, info Fast API, and also gonna import Unicorn API, and let's just create route. Let's say ping and if ping return Pong, and in here, so this is a learning repository and not a product. Go learn Fast API and its internals, plus Python web tooling best practice and both detail and usage. Learn API, routing, etc. Best practices for structure, caching project, build a full real Fast API app with a tiny fast, likely on top of Unicorn. This is a real price, understand the framework. Tutor, not code dispenser, never write the code, do not hand over implementation snippets or something. Give references and internal links with articles, do not download anything, just point URLs, pseudo diagrams, signature as discussions are fine. When illustrating a concept, full open solutions are required. Use a background, calibrate explanation to listed, this use blah blah blah, dispatch of handler, etc. But the mental model is strong, best teacher lever, draw analogies to Spring that show target routing versus handler mapping, pedantic versus deep validation, depend versus Spring PI, comfort with deep level, do not oversimplify, stack tooling. You already understand what I'm trying to do in here. Key references, point user here, don't fetch, makes sense. I think this is good. One question here, the entire stack I know, which is Tomcat SP, Spring Web, Servlet APIs to low level is sync. ASCII is basic stuff, right? Like Netty, Reactor, Workflows. Earn $10 in user credit. Process. Sure. Okay. Okay. The heck? Okay. So now, we go on. You have to process the app. Like, you will follow the run. You have to process the app, which is 80. 80 is probably taken, I think. And I suppose 88 is taken, but why is it not showing up in now? That's very weird. Well, have something running in 88. Yeah, I have something running in 8080. Also, I think my GitHub is okay. Anyways, I'm not pushing it in GitHub today, so I think session is fine. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I suppose what I wanted is can I just you need non quality name reload and see. What did I do? What? Yeah. You must pass the application import string, huh? To enable reload of workers. I cannot just pass it this way. That's weird. So can I just do that as an import string? So I suppose we have to do it in this way. That's, I think, it's double colon or single. It's single. And if I just make a change, oh, that works. Now let's quickly see if this works or not. So I didn't want this can be small. Okay. Yeah. Local post 8,000 B cigarette details not found. Do I have to take this? Oh, I get back from, so I think it should be good in. I should be good in. Okay. Cool. So the question is, what are we going to do and what are we going to do? So I'm thinking of a very simple solution here. I'm just going to create a simple user management stuff. So I can create a user, I can query for a user, I can delete a user, things like that. It's going to be very, very dumb, but it's going to, I suppose, work here for it. So if I'm not wrong, the way you pass a query parameter here is query, and I can provide stuff like this. So, so maybe it's in requests. It is always just a proxy for stubs. So looking at So it's called FastAPI dot versus Nazi for a proxy model for Spark. Okay, anyways, what did it actually give me before that? Okay. Your instinct is right on the main axis, but let me sharpen because the mapping is almost right in place where slightly off is exactly the interesting part. The clean analogy is WSGI. What is a full form? Can you give me the full form at least? So WSGI is more of servlet, which is synchronous, and then the other side is reactive async. Okay. So you have a server container on the layer, which is Tomcat. This here is called the gateway interface is of course servlet API. You have this here. On the other side, you have reactive streamish, and you have ASCII. Okay. Spring MVC slash Django, Spring Vec classes, FastAPI stack. Okay. So G unicorn and unicorn. So somebody came up. So that's basically the server of the container. Makes sense, but it's probably not an app. It's just an app. Is it an application container or is it a web container? Is unicorn a web container or app container? Unicorn is neither. It's an ASCII web. It's a web server. So it's a web container, dude. Shut up. It's a web container. Okay. So then you are talking about mostly which so synchronous blocking contract. I forgot I'm in P, so okay. So the synchronous gateway is literally excuse me, asynchronous. The spec was written as WSGI successor. This is the event loop non-blocking world, same family as the reactive reflux. The spark mapping model is correct. ASCII stuff like that. Okay, when diverges, reactive operator explicit black pressure, publisher subscriber protocol. Then you compose declarative data pipelines. It's functional and frankly a different way of thinking. Async IO, what ASCII become run on. It's routines to take async IO. Oh, okay. Code read sequential imperative, it just spends its away and means a single eventually threatening the task. Okay, so operators like operator explicit backpressure, publisher subscriber protocol, you compose declarative data pipelines. It's functional, so this is basically built on top of Java 8 stuff that we have. It's a different way of thinking. Async IO is something like your JavaScript event loop, right? So whenever you have something, so it's more of a routine and not a future. If I understand that correctly, I'm not very certain about the differentiation between a routine, a future. Yeah, I think I have to get that concept a little bit more clear. But yeah, so how I think of it is future is something that I'm going to get back. So I'm expecting something back in the future. It's more like a promise. But routine is something. It's yeah. I don't know the boundaries. I really don't know the boundaries. Routine should be saying. The code reads sequential imperative is just suspense at a rate and without blah no flux. Okay. So this Java okay, ho gaya, analogy ho gaya. This is where it bites. This why this bites you? Coming from the blocking world times sleep. Okay, and Tomcat is slow blocking. Asynchronous server gateway interface. Do we have a similar thing for WSGI? Okay. What is the full form? Web server gateway is a specification that describes how a web server communicates with a web application. and how the web application can be chained together across requests. So this is a standard defined Python guys, PEP, and ASCII is asynchronous server gateway interface. Web server gateway interface, asynchronous server gateway. New standard async capabilities between Python web server frameworks and applications where yeah. So I guess this is something that we shouldn't be really on. We can create a file here, which is, oh, I suppose we already have VDs. Yeah, references. So this is whiskey, and I don't know how, like, what you pronounce, but yeah, I guess it's called whiskey. Here, just change that. So, okay. What else you have? Okay, I guess this is something that I want to patch. Sorry for the. I don't want to quite. Introduction to SP. Okay, emergency. You're saying if you're thinking Python has been locked in data science thing again, it's back at a nascent thing, and it's pretty exciting. It's back from 2019. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening in the Python web. In drivers of the antivirus SP, as I already mentioned. Yeah, I want to read this later. So, start here is the actual web framework with routing, path, solvers, etc. What does FastAPI do? Okay. So let's quickly create the thing here. I wanted to first, look at how the query string works, and I wanted to see if we have something like query. And do we have something like path? We have those. Okay. So can I say this is query, and so this is option. So do we have default? How about that? If query is present, you return on my way. Otherwise, you simply return that. You didn't mean FastAPI. Okay. Okay, that seems to work. So if I just do that, if I say query is equal to, so another thing I wanted to check is what if I say false? That worked and it says bound and false. But if I say one, that also works. That's pretty weird. Why does it not fail? Hmm. So you put your finger right on the seam. Yes, FastAPI request is referred to re-exports of these things, and it's not just requests. We'll look at these and really often. Re-exports are started FastAPI, sockets, background, static files, templating, test client, middleware, exceptions. So Starlet basically provides you with everything, including something related to background, right? Okay. So your conclusion is correct. Starlet is actual web framework. The ASCII plumbing. It owns ASCII contract. Scope is send, routing and path matching, middleware stack, WebSockets backgrounds. Okay, so what is FastAPI bringing in? Right? What are you bringing in? The tell is in the inheritance. Open the source. It inherits from star. Okay. It doesn't re-implement routing, it subclasses and injects smarter request handler. What it adds on top of value layer, parameter declaration from the magic where your function signature plus query path body header form file markers by context pull from this thing. Okay. In filtering 422, dependency injection depends sub-dependencies for request caching, yield dependencies for tier down secure dependencies. This is FastAPI, not this thing, automatic API generation, security PPs of API key HTTP. Express as dependencies are wired into the open API scheme. Yeah, I don't need so much of stuff. Starlet is equivalent to dispatch panel. Okay. It's the programming model. So FastAPI basically builds something on top of Starlet. It proxies out to all the Starlet things, but it just added capabilities. And I'm guessing you can add different algorithmic benefits on top of it. Maybe that's the reduce resolve dependency, the extraction params. Always don't have to give me correlation. Java. I understand basic. Let's stop wasting tokens. Always trying to correlate. I will ask to correlate spring paired with Java. If needed, being a tutor decide when to draw a comparison when they're not to add this in garden. Okay. My bad, sorry. Good, okay. So this is working fine, but what I'm kind of not understanding here is that I'm passing query as one, which technically can be a, what if I now say this is int, on my one, what if I say ABC? Okay, so it is not just about, that makes sense. Because technically speaking, everything can be converted into a string. What if so one other thing here is that And my PS1 is a little bit. So localhost 8000. Ping query equals 1. You provide me with pop my 1. But if I say and query equals 2. Still worked. But it only took the first one, not the second. Makes sense. And definitely something else is going off, because here it does that, and here I feel there is something is getting off in here. Something is getting cut off in here, I feel. But okay. Makes sense. Makes complete sense. So Boolean cannot be. Can be not. Can it be not? Like, if I just say default is false, can it figure out that I don't need to pass that? It figures out, I think. That makes sense. Query equals, but I suppose I cannot say this. I can. This is awesome. What if I say 1? What if I say this? Okay. So it only takes 1 and this thing into consideration. What if I say 100? Okay. So it's just 1 and 0 and supposing. So this is false. Cool. Makes sense. Makes complete sense. So it kind of is a more not complete authoritative, but it makes some assumptions on how you want to do things. Comfortable with deep level. Don't oversimplify. Do not reflexively correlate with Spring Java. It's a strong lever when used sparingly. The user finds constant analog is noisy, use feature judgment, feature speed. Genuinely unlocks a hard concept when the user explicitly asks to compare default to explanation fast APIs. Cool. Makes sense. But now my question is, can I get a pump? Can I get that off the question? Work in here. Let's just call this ping 2, and in here, how do you do this? Supposing that's how you do it, I don't want that. So ID, damn it, I kind of the name is like gone. Is the stream still up and running? Yeah, the stream still up. This name is. This is really annoying from Python part. Like, you don't have proper namespaces. Yeah. Oh, that's actually a good question. Trace a get items ID. Man, it actually kind of gave away. Okay, I was trying to figure out if we can, but yeah, we can still go through it now. So this is an int. Path. Can I just do in this? I'm just gonna return the ID for now, and here, if I do this, it's too long. But if I say 1, details not found. Okay. Yeah, I suppose because it has to be this. Okay. But now, if I just provide something like that, it's going to kind of fail. But this should work fine, and this should work fine. So as long as you can convert something into that, right, without too much of this thing, I think it should be fair. Okay, cool. So it does a little bit of Pythonic things or C-like things, I would say, but C only I think does not null, where something is not it's false, if I'm not wrong. Whatever. So okay, so this is basically how you do a path parameter. Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Did ChatGPT give you a path? Yeah. What happens when a request comes in? That just makes sense once you start building this thing. Routes is this. Okay. Request input user ID. So we already figured that out. The query parameters are. We already figured that out. Request body. Request body. Okay. How to define? Let's actually, why not ask? How to define a pedantic request model? Take an example of like ID, name, email, password. ID is full auto cherry. Okay. So ID is going to be auto generated. That's what I'm trying to say. FastAPI model. I think there's also a FastAPI docs. There's also a tutorial in here where you have a request body, okay? So you say base model and you can say this and then, that's fair enough. But do you have a response? We have a response parameter. You also have that. Okay, so you can also type check on the return type. But what if I actually send back JSON content? Will it type check on the content? That's a question to ask, right? So I suppose what I can do here is let's just say this is user is a good example. Let's start with user for now, I suppose. And here we have base model, which is having a name, which is string. Whatever, email string. Okay, so you can also just, be like password. Cannot see, cannot type. I cannot type, I know that. Still trying to learn this typing thing. Trying to be good at it. See. Okay. So one of the things I feel what you can do here is so let's just say this is the user. Okay. This is the user request and here is the user response, which is you don't send a password, let's say, but you set the ID. Okay. One thing I want to do here is that ID should be replaced with ID. I hope that's okay. I don't know why my name does that, but yeah, whatever. I'm gonna quickly really keep those error outs. It's not gonna be harmful. That's for sure. Okay, so I don't have any FPS version of that, so I think it's going good. Till now. Okay. Makes sense. Okay. So one thing I want to do here is uh, I think app post you have stock tags, you must have post users. Okay. Dev create user. So in here, I want to say user request. For now, I'm not gonna say what's a return type. Okay, I'm not gonna say that. We can have a database which is basically a list of user. And since we're not doing anything, next ID is one. I think so. We can just ignore things like that. Okay, cool. So next ID. So what I wanted to do, I suppose here is next ID. So in here, I wanted to DE. I think I can do map lambda. So I take the user and I just take user ID. That's how you do that, right? First you give the function, then you do the iteratively. So when you give database, and the question here is, can I just run maximum? I will see if it actually does what I intend to do. If length of the users, you can always return one. Right? Yeah, right. Okay, so here you quickly get the next ID, which is gonna be ID, and person, say user, you do that, payload name, payload email, payload password. Of course, there's no production, stuff like that. Yeah, whatever. DB push, not push, add, append the user. And here, what I want to do was the response body, I'm just going to say body, is user response. So I'm passing in the ID, I'm passing in the name, passing in the email. I suppose there can be better ways of constructing all of these because it's just hiding information and not hiding information, but we are not doing in design and stuff like that. Right? We are not doing that. We are not doing that. So I remember we have something called JSON content. I don't quite remember. So first of all, let's see. Okay, so we need P comes first. Yeah, P comes here, right? And control base model. And in here, What do I want to do? I want to check for JSON. It's not there. But parent function will be. I'm guessing it's in responses. Okay, so responses is smart, just realistic. But do you have something like JSON? Oh, it's definitely, wait, UJSON is, wait, hold on. I think this. Oh, I can also have a redirect response. Okay. What does this have? It has content which is necessary as status code. This default, this is default, media type, background task. Background task. What is a background task which I'm sending to? What? I'm setting a function args process isn't callable. I'm setting a function reference saying I'm gonna run something. Is that what this is? So what you're trying to say is just to get it honestly. But anyways, from FastAPI responses, put JSON response, and here it's not JSON current content. So JSON response. Status code is so we created something, and I think it was content, which is called. Suppose that's it. Okay, that works. So you also have a field constants, you also have a special types and stuff like that. Multiple model pattern, create versus read. Okay. Maybe these are something I should. Okay, why is it not pasting? I have no clue. Okay. Something is broken with my. Yeah, something is definitely broken with my tmux. Add these references. Okay. Okay. Cool. So, anyways, we have the code. I think for some time now we are gonna ignore ChatGPT. Okay. We post 8,000 users. Well, of course, the method is post users. We have to pass in the header in here. One thing I wanted to see, does it still override? So data. Just give me a quick second. Yes. So once it actually writes it right, I'm just gonna close plug code for now because it's shitting out stuff. So I have a name which is let's see, Priya. Email, which is Priya email, and then you have a password, which is password, something like that. Could not resolve local message. Plus. Okay. Input should be a valid dictionary or an object to extract fields. I did something wrong. But it says connection refused. That's weird. So the response we got back. Where's the response? This thing, the response code. Dude, where's the status code? 422. Unprocessable content. Okay, that's the first time I'm looking at that for a validation error. You actually provide your unprocessable content. That's quite insane. Okay. We're already doing this for an hour. I wanted to quickly clear out if my volume is correct. See these results. Yeah, I think there's a little bit echo, but we can fix it later on, not today. What is the issue? I'm not getting what's the issue, honestly. The payload is a user request, which is name, email, and password. What if I don't provide this? And then if I do this, okay. Payload is missing. What? What? I'm doing something very, very dumb, fuckingly stupid. Question is, what is it? Question is, what is it? Now we talking. Okay. Now we talking. So something failed. Mm, what field and where? Base model in it takes one positional argument but five argument. What? Takes in a single positional argument. Is that not what you're supposed to use right now? No, it's not. That's pretty damn weird. Like, why did not? So you have model config and stuff like that, and this base model is coming from. It's just coming from anything. It's just that. Is that okay? Yeah. What's the issue? You still have destructured dictionary. So what is the issue that you're facing? What are you facing? What are you facing? Request with questions. Somewhere I saw request body right here. From Pydantic you import the base method. And here we define it in this way. Okay. So everything that is mentioned here is something that I have done, but it does not quite work. Currently, this dynamic is failing. How do I make it into the selection mode? Kind of forgot. Getting this error. By the way, I think the problem here is the user is pointing right, line and line corresponding to shape. The mechanism in it has signature roughly like this thing exactly. The slash makes that position only, everything else is keyword only. So the only positional argument it will accept is self when you call user ID. Python tries to bind 4 arguments on top of self, takes 1 positional argument with 5 arguments. Art doesn't deliberately a model fields are unordered a set of names validated by name, not unordered people. Doesn't a positional constructor like a data class or a Java closure with all args constructor, you must pass fields by name. Okay. Are you saying that I have to do this always? The fuck? That's dumb. That's very, very dumb. So you're telling me Object of user response type is not JSON serializable. Hmm. Okay, this went through. Wait, hold on. I mean, I'm not still running with PDB, but that's fair enough, I suppose. Do I always have to define a dumb function or something like that? Why can't you just JSON? Okay, uh, maybe it is because of this. And still didn't actually work. Why is it not JSON serializable? This is not JSON serialized. Okay, but why? You're not telling me why. So the first thing I wanted to do here is payload. And it works, but it somehow doesn't know. That's weird, man. It's very response model return back. You have to. What if I say still the same issue, right? Hmm. Still the same issue because right here it's just saying this. What if I say this? Now it works fine. Holy shit. Now it works fine and it gives me exactly that along with content type is application JSON, content length is this. But if I wrap it in JSON content, JSON response, it doesn't quite know how to respond back. So content is, so what if I say if JSON dumps, I give you body, status, to still doesn't know. It still doesn't know. JSON response, fast API, content not see here. So, you must convert your component into a standard JSON compatible data before passing them into response. When you return a response, FastAPI skips its automatic serialization layer and passes the data straight into standard JSON dumps, which doesn't know how to handle dynamic model custom classes data. Things like that. So you're telling me I have to write some. Oh, you have inbuilt encoders and Python's native this thing is model dump. Okay. So what does model dump give you back? Let's do it in this space. So I don't know about that. I don't know what that is, suppose. Model dump, call a function, but just don't call the function. I also want to know what is so special about you. What is it? It didn't do shit. Oh, because I gave it a function reference, not a. Now it works. So it's a dictionary. Okay. So you have to provide Python native types. Python native types. So as an example, integer. So when you say any, it's not really any, right? There should be a way to say that okay, you cannot provide a custom object. Okay. Okay, for JSON response, it cannot encode classes. You need to provide Python native types. Model from returns dictionary. That works. Cool. That kind of works. Okay. So now, yeah. It's already 9:40. I think I've been streaming for an hour, and I quickly want to stop. Maybe tomorrow evening again. Tomorrow, a little bit late night again. I'll come online. I think I am understanding the structures now, but right now, learning the internal is still going to take some time, and I feel that's the most important things to figure out who's doing what, who's not doing what, and yeah, Cloud Code still didn't actually give me the correct answer of just looking at the code and saying, "Oh, you did this wrong." That's the when answering. Are you looking at code or just based on question prompt you are? So be very honest. Let's see. Still a probability. Yeah, whatever. Still a probability of being honest, right? Still a probability of being honest. Honest answer? I read your actual code. So this motherfucker actually never took because passes by identity model as content. What was not from your code is not blah blah blah. But anyways, like I think I feel Cloud Code sometimes do not do a good job. but I feel we have almost an understanding of a basic understanding of how you create a post API. Creating a get API and all that is not really, uh, it's not really fun anymore, because I suppose it's just a template thing now. You're already aware of how things work. I am more interested in this depends thing. So FastAPI brings in dependency injection. I want to see what's some more best practice to figure out. The second thing is, if I want to divide routes into separate files, people don't do that quite often. Can I do prefixes? Can I have routes in different places and then register it to the server maps? Things like that. We'll see. We'll see tomorrow. We'll see tomorrow. For now, I think that's it. Okay, there's something pretty weird going on. But yeah, for now, I think that's it. And thank you so much for everybody who joined in. Thank you so much. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. And I'll try to be more regular. Thank you. Bye bye.